Yes.
Okay, excellent. Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us tonight in the first of what we hope are many NCSY alumni classes that we'll be hosting on Wednesday nights. We are very, very lucky to have an incredible speaker with us tonight. But first, to introduce the program, I am going to call upon one of our third-year Judah Fellows. And for those of you who don't know what the Judah Fellowship is NCSY's campus alumni program that keeps NCSY and JSU alumni all over the country engaged on college campuses. Dylan Vermeer of the University of Missouri is a third-year Judah Fellow, and he is going to be opening things up for us tonight. Take it away, Dylan.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Dylan Vermeer, like John said. I'm from St. Louis, and I go to University of Missouri. Tonight, we will be hosting Rabbi Israel Lashak. And Rabbi Lashak and I met 2 years ago on TJJ. He is amazing, super funny, super knowledgeable about so many topics. So ever since then, if I have a question, I know I can always reach out to him. He's super personable and he relates to everybody really well. And he's hilarious. So whether you need stock tips or Torah, you can always reach out to Rabbi Lashak, and his words have always inspired me, and I know they're going to do the same for you guys tonight. So give it up for Rabbi Lashak.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. Thank you first to John Ackerman and to Nicole for all their hard work. And it's an honor to be here with so many of my dear friends. Hannah Kaylee, I see Dylan, I see Jocelyn, so many of my close friends are here. Ellie Abitbol, where is the face? I want to see your beautiful face, Ellie. So many people. So Lindsay, so many people here, Baruch Hashem. And, please show your beautiful faces. I'm the ugly guy, and I'm showing my face. Oh, Lindsay, wow, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm fat, but, that's okay. That's good. Anyways, I want to do the following for the next, I don't want to bore you, so I'm going to divide the following, I don't want to call it a class because I don't want to bore you, but I want to share 3 types of information with you. I'm going to tell you tonight, we're going to learn together about the concept of dreams in Judaism. I'm going to tell you what most people teach in the regular seminars and yeshivas. So if you already know this, the first 10, 15 minutes is just going to be a review and you're probably going to be bored. That's okay. You can pull out your, you can do whatever you want. The second part that I'm going to do is what nobody does. I'm going to talk to you about the Kabbalistic part of dreams. And nobody talks about it, especially with young people. I believe that you should learn it here. Otherwise, you're going to go somewhere else and you're going to get the wrong information. So the first part will be what I call the Ashkenazi Torah, which is the Talmud and, what we call, the regular sources, the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law. The second part is what I call the Sephardi Torah, which is the Kabbalah, the Zohar, the more mystical, Sephardim love that stuff. And then the third part, what I'm going to do is I am going to tell you a story. And hopefully between those 3 things, you'll have enough questions. So please just hold your questions. I'm not going to take any questions until the end. Please write down your questions. I'm sure you will have lots and lots of questions. Just hold your questions until the end. And God willingly, I have nowhere to go. I just need more coffee and you can ask anything and everything. You can ask questions about dreams and later on you can ask questions about anything. And when you're ready to leave, that's fine. And if not, I have a lot of coffee. Adonai Sevatai Tiftach Ufi Yahagid Tehilatecha. La'asot nahad ruach leyotzreinu. Dreams is a fascinating topic that Judaism takes very seriously. In Judaism, we take dreams very, very seriously. But before I take you to the Jewish part, I've always been fascinated about dreams and the concept of dreams. Why? Because if you don't dream, it's like basically you're dead, so to speak. So, for example, I'll give you an incredible example. They say, statistics say that half of Americans, there's around 360 million Americans. They say that half, 1 out of 2 Americans, and Canadians is more, it's like 70%. And in Europe, they say it's even more, it's maybe 76%, play the lottery. The lottery, there is only one chance in 176 million, 1 in 176 million that you will win the lottery. Yet people go, I know people that go every single week and they go to 7-Eleven or whatever it is, and they do a quick pick, or they actually take their numbers and they go and buy lottery. I actually did it for many years. Now, I know a rabbi, I know a holy, holy rabbi. I'm not kidding when I say holy. This is one of the greatest people in the world who actually goes every Thursday night in Baltimore to a store called Giants and buys 1 ticket. So I said to the rabbi, why you buy 1? Let's buy 10 and, we'll have more chances, probability. And he said to me, no, because if you buy 1, it means you're relying on God. If you buy 10, it means you're relying in probability. And I only rely on God. Now, you may believe me, you may not believe me, that's okay. Doesn't matter. This rabbi has won a couple times, I don't know, 3-4 times. He doesn't win millions. He doesn't win $60 million. But listen, he gets 10,000 here, 12,000 here. Hey, listen, he just made a wedding for a daughter and he paid for most of it with one of these things. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Now, the humans love the concept of dreaming because it gives you hope, gives you life. But Judaism takes this concept much, much farther. And in Judaism, we take the concept very, very seriously. So I'm going to tell you first the famous sources, and then we will continue. Before I even start this, you should know, and I'm sure you know by now, that there are 5 books of Moses. In the first book of Moses, there are 10 dreams, 10 famous dreams. Abraham has a dream. Abimelech, which is not even a Jew, a king, who captures Sarah, has a dream. Joseph has many dreams. Jacob has a dream. Paro has dreams. Before we even finish the book of Bereshit, we already have 10 dreams. That should tell you that Judaism takes dreams very seriously. This is not a joke. Not only that, Joseph becomes a slave because his dreams, because he tells the dreams to his brothers. Later on, 22 years later, Joseph becomes a king because he interprets the dreams of Pharaoh. It's unbelievable. So as you can see, Judaism doesn't take this lightly. This is an unbelievable thing. Judaism takes dreams very seriously, so much so that we spend the whole Sefer Genesis, the book of Genesis, talking about dreams. It's unbelievable. We go from one dream to the next dream. And then Jacob, my favorite dream, Jacob sees a ladder, and the ladder is going up to heaven, and the angels are coming, they're going up and down. And unbelievable. He says, how awesome is this place? Now, I don't know if you have traveled through Europe or if you've really seen the great museums in the world. I don't know if you ever been in the Vatican. I've been in the Vatican 15, 20 times. And in the Vatican, the one most common picture or painting is the dreams of Jacob. It's not found one time. I think there is over 200 different paintings, by Bernini, by all kinds of different painters and different sculptors about the dream that Jacob has. People are fascinated by this, and religions are fascinated by this. So much so that the Vatican, it's like if you go through the Museo Vaticani, which is the museum in the Vatican, you literally will spend hours just looking at Jacob and his dream. Fascinating stuff. Okay, now I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you now the sources that we have in the Talmud of dreams. Then I'll tell you the code of Jewish law. In the Talmud, we have anybody who really studies Judaism spends years or a lifetime studying the Talmud. And one of the tractates of the Talmud, out of 70 tractates, one of them deals with the concept of blessings. What blessing should I make for rice? What blessing should I make for dates? But strangely, in one of the chapters, in the 9th chapter of this fascinating tractate of the Talmud, the whole tractate, the whole 9th chapter talks about dreams. I'll tell you some of the things that we find in this tractate about dreams. We learn, for example, that there is not such a thing as one dream that is completely true, and there's not such a thing as a dream that is completely sheker, lie, which means that every dream has a little bit of both. There is some truth, and then there is something which what we call shtus, or what the Talmud calls grain and chaff. And it is your job, like a farmer, to remove the chaff and keep the grain. It's fascinating. So that's a very hard thing to do because, first of all, it's like, we have, they say, the experts say, that there is between 4 to 8 dreams that a person has at night. A healthy person has between 4 to 8 dreams at night, usually around 6. Out of the 6 dreams, first of all, I don't remember most of them. And if I remember any of them, I probably mush them, I combine them, I mix them, and I might have, most probably when I wake up, what I did is I took one dream here, maybe the 3rd dream with the 5th dream, and I sort of, put it together, mush it together. So it's very hard to, number one, know what my 6 dreams were, which is impossible. And even those which you do remember, let's say a little bit of this one and a little bit of that one, you probably already combined and put them together. So it's hard to remove the chaff from the grain, which means the tochen, what's inside. Imagine you have a fruit, you have an orange, you have to remove the peel and keep the content, what's important. So that's very hard. Okay, the next thing you need to understand is, not only is a dream not 100% true, and it's not only a dream not 100% false, but it might take up to 22 years for a dream to be fulfilled. So just because my good friend Kaylee had a dream, and it hasn't been fulfilled, that she's going to meet Prince Charming from Denmark, it doesn't mean she won. You have to give it 22 years, Kaylee, to make sure that it happens. So that's another thing. So Joseph had to wait 22 years for his dreams to be fulfilled. So you're following, not every dream is 100% true. Not every dream is completely lies. You might have to wait 22 years for a dream to become true. Now, there are all kinds of dreams. There are dreams that for example, there are real shtus, they're nonsense. Most dreams are absolutely nothing. They're nothing, which means that not only the rabbis and the Kabbalists and the experts, even Freud, who wrote a book about this, and many other experts, they will tell you that most dreams are garbage. Why? Because, number one, there is no prophecy today. The first thing is you have to know is today we have no prophecy. So the dreams we are told is 1/60th of prophecy. So therefore, even if is a real dream, most dreams are not real. Most dreams, what are they? Is you were thinking the whole day, you got into a fight. When I was a kid, I got into a fist fight. I grew up in Mexico and two kids were making fun of Jews and they pushed me against the wall and they were fighting with me. And the whole day, all I was thinking is how they pushed me against the wall and they punched me and I had to defend myself. The whole thing I'm thinking that. And then at night, I was thinking about that too. That's not a dream. That is your mind is playing back, or your mind is exaggerating what happened during the day. I'll explain it to you in a completely different way. This is a funny way to explain. I mean, these are the greatest Talmudists talk about this, but I never knew how to explain it. Have you ever seen a caricature? Raise your hand if you know what a caricature is. Have you ever gone to this, I don't know, you go to the park or you go to the amusement park, you go to the Six Flags, and one of my wife wants to have a caricature, me and her. And they asked us, where are you going? And my wife said, we're going to be going to Paris for our 20th wedding anniversary. Oh, so the guy made an Eiffel Tower. And then, I got a big nose, a nice Jewish nose. So the guy took my face, made it very similar, but he took my nose and he sort of embellished my nose. It was a huge nose. And my wife had this beautiful hat and took her hat and he embellished it and made it huge. That is a caricature. A caricature is something which is true, but then there are some aspects of it that get exaggerated. And that is a lot of times what a dream is. You had an argument at work or you had a disagreement. Your girlfriend doesn't want to go out with you anymore. You were, thinking about what she said, what you said, and then you take it and exaggerate it and it becomes a caricature. That's a dream. That's most dreams. And yet, also, there are dreams that are prophecy. We believe, not all, but we believe that some few dreams are real prophecy. Today, we have no prophecy, and that is one of the biggest problems we have today in Judaism. If you ask me, that is the biggest problem we have in the world, because we have no prophecy. It used to be very easy. You would go to the prophet and say, Prophet Natan, should I marry Bela or should I marry Lupita? And he would say, yeah, you got to marry Bela. Should I be a microsurgeon or should I be a rabbi? You should be a microsurgeon. As a rabbi, you'll starve. You're not that good. No, maybe I blew it. Maybe I should have been a doctor. But I don't know. I didn't have a prophet. So therefore, today is very hard because we don't have prophets. But we do still have a little bit of prophecy in dreams. Now, for example, there is a concept in the Talmud that it says the chalom, a dream, goes after the interpretation. I've been married to my wife. You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. You're going, hold to your chairs, hold to wherever you're sitting, because you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. I'm hobby, she's wifey. Sometimes I'm chubby because, I like shawarma. But chubby and wifey have never, in almost 30 years, I have never told wifey one of my dreams, and she has never told me her dreams. What? 30 years married, you've never shared the dream with your wife? What's wrong with you, Mexican? Listen carefully. A dream goes after the interpretation, and today people do not know how to interpret a dream. If I say to you, I am in a pit and it's full of snakes, you guys are going to scream, oh my God, that's horrible, poor guy, he's gone. Yet the Talmud says, I'm about to become a very wealthy man. Snakes in a pit means wealth. Snakes outside a pit means 10 times more wealth. Yet you guys were going to say that is a horrible thing, and it goes after the interpretation. A dream that has never been interpreted is like a letter that has never been read. So I heard a story about a man in World War II who was shipped to France, and he didn't know that his father had died. You know, he was shipped to France in 1941, and he never heard that his father died. So he fought and he fought and he fought because what kept him alive is going back to see his father. And then he comes home and he finds out that his father is dead. They send him a letter, but they send a letter to France. But when he got the letter to France, he was already in Belgium. And when they got the letter to Belgium, he was already in Germany. And when he got the letter, and that's how it went. He said the moment he got back, had he gotten that letter in France in 1941, he would have never made it back to America in 1945. What kept him alive was his father. And had he known his father was not around, he would have not fought as hard, and he wouldn't have had the conviction, the stamina, and the willpower to continue. A letter that has never been read cannot harm you. A dream that has never been interpreted cannot do anything to you. Now, you might say, oh, some dreams are amazing. You're having a blast. Good. That dream is fine. Still don't tell it to anybody. Keep it to yourself. What about a nightmare? Sometimes you wake up in the morning. Have you ever seen little children run? I don't know about you, but when my kids were young, they would run over to my bed and they would start screaming, Daddy, 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 Daddy. I had a bad dream. And they were all nervous, sweaty, crying. And it's like horrible. It's very tormenting when you're a child. What about an adult? An adult also has nightmares. So why doesn't he scream? Because he's used to it. It doesn't mean it's not tormenting. It doesn't mean it's not harsh. It doesn't mean that he's not suffering. It means he's used to it. That's the difference. So the Talmud tells you, if you believe you had a bad dream, there are three things you can do. What you can do is you can fast. You wake up next morning, you fast the whole day. And what it is imagine you have a torch, and what you do is you light it in fire and it gets rid of it. So how do you get rid of a bad dream? You fast. You don't eat the whole day. And you tell God, you know, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to be like an angel. So let this bad prophecy disappear from me, and it gets burned, so to speak. Like when you're fasting, you know, you become like an angel. So too, this is like fire who gets rid of a torch of cotton. Okay, let's say you still have the bad dream after that, and you still petrified, you still wake up and you still have nightmares and you're still sweating. He says, okay, no problem. What you should do is you should go to the synagogue on a holy day, one of the big holidays, and you should hear the blessing of the koyanim, of the priest, the priestly blessing. And when they bless you and you cover yourself with your talit, you should make two special prayers. Please, God, let my dreams be good dreams. And if someone dreamt good about me, let it be fulfilled. And if someone dreamt bad about me, let it be erased. Let's say you're still having bad dreams and it didn't work. So we're told that you should grab three holy people and you should ask them to become a tribunal, a beit din. You should not tell them your dream. And they will tell you, Chal mataba chazita, Chal mataba chazita, Chal mataba chazita, you saw a good dream, and that's it. That's basically that we're told in the Talmud. There was a rabbi who always paid a lot of money for his interpretations, and he got good interpretations, and he lived a long, happy life. There was another rabbi who never paid for his interpretations. He got bad interpretations, and he lived 20 years less, and he suffered a lot in life. Everything goes after the interpretations. So it's very simple. You don't tell people anything about your dreams because nobody knows how to interpret dreams. There are some dreams that are very scary. If you ever sit front of your house, the front door of your house, go down or fall, that's bad. That's if you see your teeth in a dream fall, that's horrible. If you see, there's things like that. There are certain things that if you see, you should really run to the rabbis and you should really fast and you should do a nullification of dream and you should ask for a priestly blessing. Okay? That is basically the main idea. Now, I'm going to tell you the Abarbanel. The Abarbanel holds the most dreams are nothing. Why? Because the Abarbanel says that it has to do a lot with what you eat and how you take care of your body. There are people who eat healthy and really sleep properly and they exercise. And those people, they don't have so many nightmares and they don't suffer so much. There are people who eat junk all day, they don't exercise, they live in big cities where there is a lot of noise and pollution, and they really never took care of their bodies, and their bodies have suffered tremendously. And then there is a lot of, so to speak, garbage in their heads. And that's mostly everybody says the Abarbanel, and it has to do with today we live, and this is the Abarbanel lived long time ago. And he says, if you lived in the fields where nobody lives and you eat healthy food and you take care of yourself, you're not going to have so much garbage in your head. That's what he says, fascinating. The Rambam Maimonides, 800 years ago, says that dreams have two parts. A part that is fascinating, which is wow, that's what you're interested in, a part that is true. For example, he talks about flying ships. Now, the Rambam lived in Spain 800 years ago. There was no such a thing as Elon Musk, and X space, and there wasn't such a thing as going to visit the moon, or now Saudi Arabia just got to Mars. No, there wasn't anything like that. So what's the Rambam talking about flying ships? The Rambam is explaining that is the dreams have a little bit of both. The Rambam says you're never going to see a ship flying. Okay, the Rambam didn't make it to today 2021, where today we're talking about the flying cars soon. But that's exactly the idea. So that is the main part of dreams. Give me 1 second, please. Okay, any questions? Please write them down and we'll get to them very soon. Okay, now I want to share with you different things before we continue to the part number 2. There is a Ramchal, Rav Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, says the following. It says that, I'll leave that for the Kabbalistic part. I'll tell you another part. The Talmud talks about a man who had a dream. His father comes to him in a dream and he says to him, listen, Pepito. Listen, the father tells his son, Pepito. He was Mexican, this guy. I'm making it up. He says, listen, Pepito, you should know that I own a lot of land. I'm not here anymore. I passed away. But we own a piece of land in Acapulco, Mexico. And if you go to this land over there and buried under a tree, you will find a treasure full of gold. So this guy Pepito travels all the way to wherever it was. It wasn't Acapulco, it was in Babylonia actually. He goes to this place in Babylonia and he finds the piece of land. He finds the tree exactly like the dream. And he finds inside there is a bucket of gold. So he's so excited, jumping up and down. He said, oh my God, this is so exciting. I found a bucket of gold. The next night, he gets another dream. And the next dream, it says, his father tells him, he says, the gold does not belong to you because I donated it to the temple, the Bet HaMikdash, and it's not yours. Now the son is not so happy anymore. He went all the way to Babylonia. He found the land. He found the tree. He excavated. He got the gold. He brought it all the way back. And now he's told by his father that the gold is not his, that he donated it to the temple. He doesn't know what to do. He goes over to the greatest sage in the world at that time. And he says, what should I do? And the sage tells him, he says, the money is yours because we do not follow in Jewish law, in halacha, whatever you see in a dream. So when it comes to monetary things, money, we don't listen to dreams. Me, if your father says to you, it's not your money anymore, it belongs to the temple, we don't have to listen. Is your father. He came to you in a dream, says the Jewish law, the code of Jewish law, it says we don't have to listen because based on monetary concepts, according to Jewish law, we don't listen to dreams. But there are other times you should listen to dreams. For example, let's say that you have a dream and you get excommunicated in the dream. Meaning, imagine all the great people of your city. You know, Ellie is in Toronto, and all the great people from Toronto come to him and say, Ellie, you've been excommunicated. You cannot live in Toronto anymore. Out of here, you're gone. And that's a dream. Says the code of Jewish law, you should take it very seriously and you should fast and you should try to make amends. Is a dream. When it comes to money, Judaism doesn't care so much, so we say we don't listen to dreams. When it comes to your health or your good name that may affect you and your family, then you have to do everything you can to make sure that even though it's a dream, this might be prophecy, and therefore you have to do everything you can to make amends, to make sure they let you stay in Toronto and you have a happy life in Toronto. So you see how two different dreams, completely different dreams, have different laws. It's fascinating, especially when it comes to health. When it comes to health, you have to go all the way and make sure to take care of yourself. Okay, I'll tell you one more thing. Okay, I'll leave it here, and now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to move to other parts. There is a Maimonides, Rambam, who talks about a fascinating case. If you ever studied prophets, there's a very famous prophet named Samuel who actually raised from the dead a king named Shaul, King Saul. And he actually goes to a witch, and together they raise the king. The king had been dead. They killed the king in battle, and they raised him from the dead. Says Maimonides, this never happened. It was only a dream, but you should take it very seriously because it's prophecy. So we see from here Maimonides, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, since Moshe Rabbeinu says, that's how serious you should take dreams. Okay. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to tell you now the Kabbalistic type of idea. By the way, all over the Tanakh, the prophets and the writings, you have King Solomon has dreams, and we have Daniel, the famous prophet who actually went to Nebuchadnezzar and he helped him with his dreams. So dreams are taken very, very seriously, not only in the 5 books of Moses, in the 24 books, everywhere. Solomon has a dialogue with God where God says, I want to reward you. Do you want wisdom or money? And he says, I want wisdom. And God says, because you knew what to ask, I'll give you both. Fascinating. This is unbelievable stuff. There was a famous king, Nebuchadnezzar, also many, we take it very, very, very seriously. Okay, I'll leave you with one more idea, which is my favorite. In the Talmud, it talks about a Roman emperor went to a rabbi named Shmuel, and he said to him, he says, if you Jews are so amazing, so incredible, why don't you tell me what I am going to drink tonight? If you're really that unbelievable and you have so much wisdom, why don't you tell me what is it that I am going to drink tonight? And he said, you will see that the Persians will take you prisoner and force you to graze the worms with a golden stick. It was so ridiculous that the whole day this Roman emperor was thinking, the Persians are coming, they're going to capture me, they're going to make me into a slave, and I'm going to be grazing worms with a golden stick. And what do you think that happened that night? That's what happened. So it wasn't a real dream. He was just reviewing everything that happened during the day. Okay. Another time you should take a dream very seriously is if you see yourself during Yom Kippur in the last prayer of Ne'ilah and you're praying to God with tremendous devotion. It means that you should do teshuvah, you should repent, and you should take that very seriously. Another time that you should take something very, very seriously is if you see a burning Torah scroll. That means you're in trouble, and that means God wants you to do tshuva and repent. Now, if tonight you're going to go home and you're going to go to bed and you see a burning Torah scroll, that is not a dream. I told you about it. You got so worried about it. You got so crazy about this, and that's what you're thinking about it. When you go to bed, that's what you think about it. So that doesn't mean that that's a dream. Okay, I'm going to tell you now the good stuff, what I call the good stuff. Everything is good, but this is my favorite part. This is the Kabbalistic part, which I happen to think that is fascinating. So those who were asleep can wake up. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh yitbarach. This is Kabbalistic. You may not understand everything. I will try my best. I don't understand everything. A lot of this stuff I do not understand, but I will try my best to water it down so we can comprehend this. This is really fascinating. You won't hear this anywhere else because people don't talk about this. And it's a shame. The Kabbalah, the Kabbalists explain that there are two worlds. There are the world that we call the Yashar, the straight path, where everything makes sense. 1 + 1 = 2 is a straight line. You went to 7th grade, now you go to 8th grade, it's a straight path. You're on the 3rd floor of a building, and if you want to get to the 5th floor and you're walking up the steps, you're going to have to go through the 4th floor. That is the world, what we call the physical world, or what the Kabbalists call Yashar, straight. There's a different world that we're not aware of, is also in this world, is just not for the body, is only for the soul, and is the opposite, is called this, what we call a agul. Agul means a circle. Circle is very different. There is no beginning and there is no end. In a line, there is a beginning and there is an end. Is what we call Yashar. That has to do with the physical body. Spirituality is not a Yashar, is an Agul, is a round circle. For example, if I'm sitting at a normal table and I say to you, who's at the head of the table, it's very easy to see, the father is at the head of the table because it's straight. But what if you're sitting at a round table? Who's sitting at the head of the table? And who's sitting at the end of the table? Nobody knows. And that is what you must understand. There are two worlds right here. The one that your body can enter, which is the one you are accustomed to, and the one that your soul can enter, which you are not accustomed. I'll explain it to you in a whole different level. Every one of us knows that when a human body, anyone, when a human is standing, the head is in the top and the feet are at the bottom. That's normal. That it makes sense to us. There is only one time when that is not true. That's when you are asleep. When you go to sleep, all the rules change. It's not your head in top and your feet at the bottom. Yes, what we call yashar, which represents body and physicality. It becomes a circle, so to speak, and now your head and your feet, we don't know which one is in top and which one is at the bottom, because now what happens is your soul is trying to go up to heaven, and your body, so to speak, calms down. And now we're not talking about a physical world anymore. We're talking about a spiritual world where your soul, if done properly, is supposed to go up to heaven and enjoy from the creator of the world. And that's why when you wake up in the morning and they wake you, the alarm goes on, or they wake you up and you wake up like this, is because God has to take your soul and throw it back at your body, and you have to run. It's a horrible experience to wake up like that, because God has to take your soul and throw it back at your body, and that's why you wake up like this. There is a difference on how people sleep. There are three types of people. This is very Kabbalistic. There are righteous people, there are wicked people, and then you and me. Righteous people fall asleep like this. That's a gift that God gives them. Now, just because you fall asleep like this doesn't mean you're a righteous person. I'm saying a righteous person, one of the gifts that God gives them is they fall asleep right away, not suffering whatsoever. That's a gift. That I'm not saying that every person who falls asleep right away is righteous. I'm saying one of the gifts, of many, many gifts that God gives righteous people, is they can go to sleep and they do not suffer tormentation during the night. There are wicked people who suffer tremendously. They cannot sleep well. That doesn't mean if you don't sleep well that you're a wicked person. It could mean that you don't eat well. It could mean you don't sleep well. Taking the wrong medicines. It could mean you don't exercise. It could mean you have to go see a doctor. It could mean a lot of things. But wicked people, real wicked people, God punishes them by them not sleeping well and not dreaming well. And if you're not dreaming well, your body doesn't get full rest. And if your body doesn't get full rest, God does it in purpose, because he doesn't want the soul to find tranquility, because the soul finds tranquility when you lie down and go to bed. Your soul is supposed to go back to God. And that's how tzaddikim and you and I, normal people, everybody in this call, we are what we call Beinoni, not here, not there. We're not righteous, we're not wicked. Sometimes we do good things and sometimes we do not so good things. We give charity and then 10 minutes later we gossip. So we are here and we're not there. We're here and not there. So you and I go to sleep. Sometimes we sleep right away properly and sometimes not so well. And then our body is struggling to try to make it. Our soul is struggling to try to make it to heaven. When the soul makes it to heaven, the soul now doesn't have the confines of the body. That what we call yashar, straight line. There's no 1 + 1 = 2. You don't have to go from the second floor to the third floor to get to the fourth floor. In the spiritual world, there is no confines. There's nothing like that. So now you can actually sit and learn from God himself or from angels. And what it really is happening in a Kabbalistic explanation is your soul makes it to heaven and you're listening to angels, and the angels are sharing incredible secrets up there in heaven. And when you come down to earth, you remember some of those secrets, but you don't remember all of it. A little bit of this dream and a little bit of that. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll take it seriously, some of them, and some of them will help you tremendously in life as what we call prophecy. It used to be that not only were angels talking to you, there were demons talking to you. And when you hear angels talking to you, is what we call a sweet dream, a beautiful dream, a peaceful night. And when demons are talking and you are part of that, you happen to be, your soul happens to be near the demons, that is when your soul is tormented. That is when you have what we call a nightmare. That is why your mommy, when you were little, would say to you, sweet dreams. And your mommy would say to you when she would tuck you in bed, she would say to you, sweet dreams is not a statement, it's a blessing. The moms, Jewish moms, started this 2,000 years ago, giving blessings to their children that their soul should hang around with angels and not with demons. It is not a nice thing to say to somebody, have nice, sweet, nice dreams or blessed dreams. It is not a nice statement. It's a blessing. You're giving a beracha that your child should be able to fall asleep fast and this body should be able to rest, because that's how it heals itself. The body heals itself while he's asleep because it doesn't move too much and he's able to rest. The soul goes up to heaven and he enjoys from angels, which is spiritually recharged by the angels, and is an enjoyment. If it happens to go up instead of heaven somewhere else where there are demons, that's not going to be a fun experience. That's going to be a traumatic experience. You can sleep at night well tonight and the next night, because I'll give you a blessing, and not only because of that, because the Maimonides Paskins le'alacha le'maisa, today we have no demons. Demons don't exist. They did exist, but they don't exist anymore. Why? We do not merit to have them. What do you mean? Why would I want demons? It's because the world must always be in a constant level of purity and impurity. So we had prophecies. So we had demons. We had, we had Moses. So we needed a Balaam. The world must always be in constant levels of purity and impurity, and you have to be pulled both ways to be able to have free will. If you have free will and free choice, then God can reward you and punish you. Today we have no prophecy, so we have no demons. We have no idolatry, so we don't have, so we don't have the temple. So we lost a lot of powers of evil, but we also lost a lot of powers of good. So today you and I live in incredible boring times. Yes, I know that you love Netflix. Yes, I know that you can't wait to get to your Amazon Prime and watch the next season of Chicago Fire or whatever it is that you watch. And you think we live in incredible, no, we don't live in incredible times. It was incredible times where Moses could fly and use holy words to destroy armies. That was cool. That was cool. It was cool when Moses and his brother Aaron could go out to the camp, even though there was like a COVID. There was a Mageifa. The Torah talks about the horrible, horrible plague. And Moses tells Aaron, take the incense, put it out in the middle of the camp, and the whole plague stopped. You know, for a year, everybody's been suffering with this COVID, Corona, whatever you call it, all over the world. Do we have a new strain? Do we have another strain? Do we have the vaccine? Does the vaccine work? Well, blah, blah, blah. The vaccine lasts 8 months, whatever it is. It used to be, you just grab these 13, 11 spices, you go out to the, you know, the middle of the field, you put the incense, and that was it. And that was a secret that Moses brought down from heaven, from Mount Sinai, from the angels, and all the plagues would stop. You ask me, we live in boring times. I'm going to finish with the following concept, and this is very, very important. The way your body is supposed to rest at night and get recharged, which is very healthy, is very, very healthy for your body. That's why you should really sleep. You should take your sleep seriously. When you wake up in the morning, have you ever felt those who really, young people, it's hard for them because they sleep a lot, and young people also, it's very hard for them, especially in today's world. You know, but most older people, when they wake up, their minds are very fresh. That's why in yeshivas, in the great academies, in the great universities of the world, you know, the greatest part of your learning, the greatest part of your wisdom comes from the morning, because your mind is clear, your mind is fresh. Yes, it takes me an hour and a half to drink my coffee, but after that, you know, that's the greatest inventions of the world had happened in the morning. Why? Because your body has rested. Your body has eliminated toxins. You wake up, you go to the toilet, where your body gets rid of toxins, your brain is also supposed to do the same thing at night. But if there is too much garbage in your head, the word halom also comes from the word achlama, which means to heal. One of the purposes and real purposes of dreams is the way the body heals itself at night, so does the brain. I don't know a lot about computers, but a friend of mine told me that my computer is very slow because I never, what do they call it? Defragging. I never clear the garbage in my computer. He says, this is like, the brain needs to be clear. And how does the brain get clear? The brain gets clear during the night, these dreams. That's another Kabbalistic concept. But if you have too much garbage in your head, it's very hard to get rid of it. That's why so many people, instead of enjoying their night, they're suffering through the night. You know, what happens when somebody goes away on a vacation? He goes to Florida for 10 days, and instead of working, he goes to the beach and collects little seashells. I'm collecting seashells. After 10 days of collecting seashells, you come back, you're a different person. Your body's rested, your mind is rested, and now you're more willing to understand. So that's the Kabbalistic understanding of dreams. I'll end up with a story. There's a famous story. Eli was with me, I believe. Eli, you went with me to Slovakia, to the Chasam Sofer?
Yeah, I was there.
You were there. Who else was there? Lexi, I saw Lexi. Where's Lexi? Lexi's still here? Is Lexi?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is Lexi, I'm sorry. Lexi, were you with me in Slovakia, in Bratislava? No, you were
No, I was.
with me.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Eli, you went to Bratislava with me, yes?
Yeah.
We went to see the Chasam Sofer. The Chasam Sofer is a fascinating story about this man who lived in Bratislava, Slovakia. And we went to see his burial place, fascinating place. So I'll tell you a story about the Chasam Sofer. There was a huge fight in Europe, and there was a big rabbi. His name was Rabbi Brent. Rabbi Brent passed away, and Rabbi Brent lived most of his life in a big city in Europe. I don't remember the name right now. Königsberg, something like that. And a lot of time has passed. The name doesn't even make sense today. And this big city, Kollingsberg, they decided that the rabbi should be buried there because he served there for 60 years. The problem was that the last 2 years of the rabbi's life, he served in a little town, and that's where he died. So they're fighting these two cities, where should the rabbi be buried? So they asked the Chasam Sofer, the greatest sage in the world, and the greatest sage in the world said, wherever he's buried, that's where you leave him. It's the little town. He's not going to have a lot of visitors. It doesn't matter. We don't move around the body. That's where he was buried. The Chasam Sofer says, we don't move him. A month later, the Chasam Sofer wakes up and he runs over and he says, I'm wrong. We must move the body. And then they moved the body of this famous Rabbi Brent all the way to the other side of Europe to Königsberg. And then the Chasam Sofer, the great sage, dies. So they go to the Ksav Sofer, to the son of the rabbi of the Chasam Sofer, and said, why did your father change his mind so we should move the body of Rabbi Brent from the little town to the big city? And he said, because the Rabbi Brent, came to him in a dream and he told him, says, I should not be buried here. I've been buried here for a half a year. That's okay, but now you must move my body. So the Chasam Sofer, the great sage, asked the deceased, why you want me to move your body now? Why didn't you tell me in a dream the day we buried you or the day before we buried you? And he said, because I was engaged to a young girl and I broke off the engagement and she cried for a half a year. So in heaven, they wanted me and my family to cry for a half a year, because in Judaism, we believe something called Midah Keneged Midah, measure for measure. I made a girl suffer for a half a year. My soul suffered for a half a year. Now move my body back to the big city. Fascinating story by the Chasam Sofer. We take dreams very, very, very seriously. We take dreams very seriously, but the problem is we do not know what dream is true. We don't know which ones are prophecy, and I'll leave you with the last concept. One of the greatest sages of this century lived in Israel. His name was the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish was a real giant, and the Chazon Ish, he lived in Israel and Bnei Brak. And the Chazon Ish never, ever, ever stood for another rabbi. Never. It doesn't matter who it was, the Chazon Ish never stood up for anybody. The Chofetz Chaim, he would not stand up. The Chazon Ish never stood up for anybody. And then one day they see that there is a couple kids with Down syndrome. Mongoloid, special needs. Some kids with special needs are walking by right in front of the Chazon Ish where he was studying, and the Chazon Ish stood up, stopped learning, and he walked with them. He walked with the kids. He walked all the way with the kids to where they lived in this special needs house. And they asked the Chazon Ish, what's going on? You don't stand up for the greatest sages in the world. Why did you stand up for these kids? And this is what he said. He said, the greatest sages in the world are not perfect. And once in a while, they make a mistake and they go against God willingly. But these are pure souls who have never, ever gone against God willingly. And therefore, their souls are the purest. And they have prophecy, pure prophecy. And later on through the years, they found out that the Chazon Ish would go over to this special needs house and would talk to these children who had special needs. And he would ask them, Maile Pesukecha, what did you study today? What did you learn today? And based on what they told him, he believed it was prophecy, and many of his great rulings, halachic rulings that he made in his life were based on what these children with Down syndrome would tell him. Unbelievable. So he said there are only two real prophecy today. One of them is kids who have Down syndrome, who have never gone against God willingly. So therefore God gives them a gift. Why? Why to them? Because nobody pays attention to them. And that is exactly why the great Torah sages of the world do pay attention to them, because God doesn't want everybody to know where the secrets are. And he puts them in people that nobody believes they have any secrets. These are the people who have the greatest secrets. The other people is little children, little kids who are so little, who have never really sinned against God in purpose. They're so little, they're 4 or 5 years old, they're so pure, they're so beautiful. And then the rabbi would always stop these kids and they would ask him, Maile pesukecho, what verse did you study today? And he would tell them, the kids would tell him, and he would make his rulings based on this. Now, you are not the Chazon Ish, I'm not the Chazon Ish. Don't try this at home, because we don't know what we're doing. But it gives you an idea that we take in Judaism very, very seriously, dreams. I personally take dreams very seriously. I've had many powerful dreams in my life. And my mother told me that she had a dream when I was born that I was going to become a rabbi and that I was going to teach children Torah. And when she told me this and I was 13 years old, I laughed, because I'm me, a rabbi, I'm not even religious. I just ate a ham sandwich this morning. I said, what are you talking about? And then, later on, it's like, I wanted to be a doctor. And what do you know today? I'm a rabbi and I go around the world teaching young people Torah. That's my piece. I'm ready for questions and answers. I'm sorry I took so much time. Please forgive me. I ate too much water. I drank too much water in Mexico. I don't know about time. It's so nice to see so many friends here. That's so beautiful. Yes, questions, comments, jokes, recipes.
Okay, thank you so much, Rabbi Lashak. We have a whole bunch of questions here in the chat, so I guess we'll try to get through as many as we can, but we'll start with Claire Siegel, who just asked if you could repeat, please, what the Rambam said about the flying ships and dreams.
That's fascinating. The flying ship, says the Rambam 800 years ago said that dreams have two parts, something which is real and something that is like weird. And that's what he calls it, flying ships. He says you will never see a flying ship, and that is like what a dream is. There are things which are real in the dream, and there are things which are what we call shtus, which will never happen. Again, the Rambam didn't live in 2021, where, or 2050, when we might travel to just go to the moon for the weekend. Did I answer the question?
Guys, maybe what we'll do is, for those of you who posted your questions here in the chat, I'll call on you and you can ask your question. That way you can have an opportunity to speak to Rabbi Lashak. Nicole, if you can unmute people, I guess, when we call on them. All right, Maya Steinberg, you're up.
I wanted to ask, when I was younger, I had a teacher who said that everyone who said Shema in one night would all come up in each other's dreams. So like we all said Shema and then we were all in each other's dream. But I don't know if it was just because we were thinking about it or if because that's like a real thing.
I've never heard of such a thing, Maya. I only talk about what I know. I've never heard of such a thing. I would assume, how old were you, Maya?
This was like 3rd or 4th grade.
So help me here. Well, how old were you?
8. Oh, so 10, 11, 9 or 10. 9, 10, 11.
So it could be that because you're so young and God loves pure souls, it could be that there is something to this. I would assume there is a lot to it. And saying Shema is one of the, if people would understand what the Shema is, they would really stop and say it slowly. It is the battle cry of Judaism, and there's so many incredible secrets. I'll give you one of them. There are 248 words in the Shema, and there are 248 limbs in the body. And each word of the Shema is supposed to heal one of the limbs of the body. So, but people say, Shema Israel, That doesn't heal anything. I know people who literally take 20 minutes to say Shema, and they're 104 years old, and and they eat better than me, and they talk better than me, and they walk better than me because they've taken it seriously. So I would assume in your case, Maya, and I'm not sure, but I would assume that yes, there is something to young people who haven't sinned saying Shema together, but it could also be because all of you were thinking about it, and that's most probably what happened. I would say 80% it was all of you were thinking about it, but is there a possibility of young souls all together coming together saying Shema, creating a special moment spiritually? Absolutely. I wasn't there. I'm not aware of this concept. I will ask my rabbis. What I don't know, I tell you, I don't know.
Okay,
The
thank
next
you.
question is Claire has a question about Tehillim. Claire, go ahead.
Hi, Rabbi. So you said that we don't really have demons anymore because we don't have prophecy. But I've heard that you shouldn't say Tehillim at night so the demons don't like snatch up.
Okay, again, Claire, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Sorry. So you said that we don't have demons anymore because we don't have prophecy and it like needs to balance out. But I've heard that we don't say Tehillim at night unless it's for Fua, so like the demons don't like snatch it up because they like have power over the night. So then if we don't have demons anymore, why is that still the case?
That's an incredible question, Claire. Wow, incredible question. So the answer is, you're right. Most people do not say Tehillim during the night. I do, and Sfardim do, and people who are into Kabbalah and Kabbalistic do say Tehillim during the night, and all people from Europe do say Tehillim during the night. Some people say you shouldn't say Tehillim during the night, mostly Ashkenazim, because they say that, Tehillim is so powerful, and you already said Shema, going back to Maya. And therefore, because you already said Shema is called a double-edged sword that eliminates the demons and eliminates any harm that could be done to you. And you already said a prayer called Hashkibeinu. Hashkibeinu is, let me lie down, God, remove all the plagues and all the sorrows and all the illness from me. It's a beautiful prayer that I've been saying much more carefully since COVID started, because it talks about plagues. So that's why a lot of people don't say Tehillim. Now, if you feel you want to say Tehillim, you need to say Tehillim. You have a special case while you're saying Tehillim, go ahead. My wife and I, we stay up the whole first night of Rosh Hashanah. Each one of us says the whole book of Tehillim, the whole night of Rosh Hashanah. That's our custom. And we ask for one thing. At the end of the night, when we're completely exhausted, we ask God for both of us together for one thing. And then I'm so tired, I just walk over to the synagogue and I give classes for the next 10 hours. And I'm so exhausted, but I've never felt so spiritual and so close to God. To answer your question, Claire, because people say Shema and Ashkiveinu, so they feel that they don't need to say Tehillim anymore. And that's one of the main reasons. There are other reasons, but I don't understand them. I will never tell you what I don't understand. I'll never tell you what I never heard from a great sage or from a great, woman. I will never tell you what I didn't read inside a book, a holy sefer. So I hope that helps you, Claire. If not, I can ask my rabbi.
Thank you. What about saying Tehillim before saying Shema?
Sfardim do it all the time. And I'm accustomed to say it. And I listen. It can hurt.
The next question, Rebbe Lishak, please let us know when you want to sign off. I know it's late, so if you need to go, please let us know. The next question is going to be.
Are you kidding me? I haven't seen these incredible friends of mine in so long, and you want me to run away? I might stop for a second just to get a coffee, but yeah. Okay, next question.
Sounds good. Next question is from Lexi. Lexi, go ahead.
So you had mentioned
Lexi,
that.
so nice to see you, Lexi.
Nice to see you too.
Lexi,
We need
you
to
have
catch
my
up.
WhatsApp, you can once in a while WhatsApp me,
Yes, yes.
in Dallas at, Gmail or whatever it is.
Okay, I will keep up on that because I've been really bad at that.
You
but
are really bad at it, but I forgive you.
So my question is, you had mentioned that a lot of people can't get a full night's sleep because they have, you mentioned the like with the computer, how there's like a lot of like trash hasn't been cleaned out, and how a lot of people cannot fully rest and fully get a good night's sleep because they have so much clutter in their soul, in their body, and in their mind. So what does a person do if they have too much clutter in their mind and soul and body? How does one, get rid of that clutter? Is there a way for like Hashem to, like, how does one reach out to Hashem in a way to get him to help with that clutter, if that makes sense?
A beautiful question. So many people, what they do is they do meditation. Now, meditation is not a new concept. It's actually at least 5,000 years old. And it didn't start in the Tibet, and it didn't start in China, and it didn't start in, in these faraway places. You don't have to get on a plane and travel, to Thailand to learn meditation. You can do meditation very simple. It takes literally, if you want to do it right, it takes a little longer. I will tell you in a second, but first I have a little story to tell you. This summer was the first time, it's not true, it's the second time in 40 some years I did not go to Israel. This summer was the second time in 40 some years I did not go to Israel. I couldn't go because of COVID. NCSY programs were not running, no TJJ, no EuroEyes, no nothing. So I took my family to Yellowstone, and we went to Glacier Park. We went to Grand Tetons. We went to a lot of Bryce, a lot of beautiful places. They're all incredible. Absolutely amazing. I've been wanting to do this trip forever, but I'm never here. I'm always away 3-4 months in the summer. And I promised my children I would do it. I never had the opportunity. My son Gabriel calls me up and he says, Dad, for years you promised me to take me. No excuses, let's go. We took a car, my wifey, and we took my daughter Rivka, and we went. I have to tell you, it was one of the most incredible things I've ever done in my life. Yes, I've seen more beautiful places. Slovenia is nicer, New Zealand is nicer. Yes, Greece is nicer. But I never knew that in the United States, there was a place like Glacier Park. Yes, Yellowstone was nice, the bears and the animals, it was beautiful. But the one that took away my breath was Glacier Park. I don't know if you've ever been in Glacier National Park. If you've been, please raise your hand. Glacier National Park is absolutely unbelievable. You have to go to Glacier. And we got there the day after they opened up because of COVID. And it was empty. There was nobody there. And there is a lake at the bottom of Glacier National Park. And my wife says to me and my son Gavi, says, it's time for Mincha. The sun is about to set. And, I'm a rabbi, but I'm very honest. Not every time I pray, I feel connected to God. Or sometimes when I pray in a synagogue, I pray fast 5-10 minutes. And sometimes I didn't feel anything. I'm telling you the truth. Not every time I pray, I feel, wow, I'm connected with God. So my wife said, the sun is setting, it's time to pray. And me and my son started praying. I kid you not. What usually takes me 10 minutes must have taken me 50 minutes, 55 minutes. I opened my eyes and I saw the beauty of what God had created. And this inspired me to really talk to God. There was white eagles flying on top of me. There was marmots running by my feet. There was some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. And I really, really, it was an incredible inner peace. Not only because the place is so beautiful, because I was able to talk to God properly. Let me explain to you what that means. When you really pray to God, what you should feel is that your soul is like a little bit departing your body and is going up to heaven. And it's an unbelievable experience. And I'm not telling you that every time I pray, I feel like that, but I've felt it 30, 40 times in my life. You know, there are drug addicts. I asked a drug addict once, why does he keep on shooting? And he says, because I'm looking for that unbelievable high that I once experienced. I have to tell you, the greatest high that a human being can experience is not a physical high, it's a spiritual high. So you can do it in many ways. There are people who meditate. Nothing wrong, that's beautiful, go for it. If it helps you, that's incredible. There are people who don't do yoga, that's fantastic. I can do yoga, I have a bad back, I have a bad this, but I did learn in yeshiva and I learned how to pray. And if you really learn how to pray, I'm not saying that every time you pray, you will find this incredible inner peace. I'm not saying that. But if you really study it properly and you do it the right way, many times you will. Not every time I work out, it was a great workout. Sometimes I work out and nothing, it was like a waste of time. Not every time I pray, I feel that way, but many, many times I find that incredible. And you know what starts happening? All that garbage, everything in your head starts disappearing. And everything goes away. And everything becomes so beautiful and so peaceful and so amazing. So you can do it many ways. The way I do it is I go to beautiful places and I recharge. I do it by praying. And I also do it by talking to a good friend. If you have a special friend that you can really talk to about anything, it is good to sit down, especially at night, when you're a little more relaxed, and you open up. You have to feel very comfortable with this person, that you can feel and you can tell them your secrets. And when you actually open up and tell a really good friend, someone you really trust, your secrets, there is an incredible inner peace. Not only are you getting rid of everything in your head, you are healing your soul and your body. I hope I was able to answer your question. Yes, it's okay, or should I?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, very good. Next question is from Dylan Vermeer. Dylan, hit it.
What's up, Rabbi Shaq? Just a quick kind of question, also a similarity that I found that I wanted you to comment on. When you say dreams are kind of like a time for your body and soul to relax, it really reminds me of Shabbat. I wanted to know if there was any correlation there.
Absolutely. It's not just about relaxing, it's more about healing. It's much more than just relaxing. It's about healing. What happens in Shabbat is so unbelievable that what happens is you get a second soul. During the week, you only have one soul. During Shabbat, you have two souls. And that's why you get incredible inner peace with your creator, with your family, with yourself in Shabbat. And also heals. It's like the second soul coming to do CPR to the first soul. And that's why Shabbat is so special. We would even comprehend what Shabbat is a second soul coming to do CPR to the first soul. So people who really observe Shabbat to the full extent experience incredible inner peace with their creator, with themselves, peace with the world, is very healing. It's not just relaxing, it's healing. It's healing for the soul, it's healing for the brain, it's healing for the body. And he's, in another way of explaining it, is when your battery of your phone is completely gone and is in red, you need to recharge it. We need to recharge our souls and our bodies. And today is very hard because we live in these big cities, there is noise, we eat junk, we hear garbage, our heads, noises, and we need to learn to heal ourselves. Shabbat has so many healing powers. The word Shabbat means Shina Beshabbat Ta'anug. Rest, sleep in Shabbat is a tremendous pleasure. But it's not only a pleasure for you, it's a pleasure for God because you've shared time with him. It's fascinating. Yes, we could talk about this for a long, long time. Yes, people who know how to experience Shabbat, they have incredible inner peace.
Thank you.
I think we probably have time for just one more question here. So I'm going to skip down to Lindsay Hayes. Lindsay, go ahead.
Hi, Rabbi. First of all, do you remember me?
Sure, I remember
Tuesday,
Lindsay. We went to Europe together. I remember Lindsay. How can I forget Lindsay?
Yeah, I bumped into you in Rome 2
Yes,
years ago.
I remember. It was
fun.
amazing. It was great. It was beautiful.
Yeah. So my question,
where are you now,
you think
Lindsay?
Hashem-
Where are
I'm
you?
in Montreal.
Montreal.
I live in Montreal.
Are you
Yeah.
freezing there?
No, it's not that bad. I'm staying inside because of COVID.
They have
I'm online for school.
They have great kosher restaurants in Montreal.
Yeah, they do.
The best kosher bakery outside of Europe is in Montreal. It's called Cheskis.
Cheskis, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
You know.
Oh my God. I must have eaten $2,000 worth of Cheskis.
Me too.
Oh,
So,
I love that place.
My question.
By the way,
is,
the best hamburger I've ever had outside of Argentina is in Montreal in a place called Chops. Chopstick?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Chops. Very
Chops.
expensive. Chops.
Wow. I had 2 hamburgers, me and wife. It was like $110. But it's Canadian,
Yeah, it's
so it's only like $60.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So my question, do you think Hashem brought up certain things to biblical figures in dreams rather than giving them a sign in real life, like they did with other prophets? Like, let's say the burning bush was in real life, but like Jacob's dream with the ladder was in his dream. Like, why do you think Hashem like chose to do certain things in dreams versus their real life?
Amazing question. The only human to ever experience prophecy while awake was Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu. Even Jacob had to be asleep because after a prophecy, the body became like an epileptic. Your body started shaking. Your body would jump up and down for days. People would lose weight. They would become very sick. There are a lot of sforim, a lot of books written about this. What someone went through prophecy. I mean, Ezekiel, Yechezkel going through his prophecy. Oh my God, he was very sick for a long time because his soul, even though it was unbelievable, was not perfect. So therefore, the only human being or the only soul capable of really talking to God awake was Moshe Rabbeinu. It's called Ascleparia. It was clear. Have you ever seen an old TV that is like, it's like all fuzzy and it's like, there's like, it's not clear what's going on. Like in Israel, they used to have 2 channels when I was growing up. Channel 2 and Channel 4, and it was all like fuzzy and it was like barely could see anything. Israeli girls are laughing and it's like you barely could see what was going on over there. That's how it was. Today everything is much clearer. So Moshe was so close to God that it says that they walked together, so to speak. But Yaakov Abinu and Jacob or Joseph or all these people, they were unbelievable. But even them, they would have died, literally died, had God spoken to them while they were awake. By the way, do you know why Jews are always Jews are the top in every field in the world. Look at the Nobel Prizes. Half of the Nobel Prizes in the history have been given to the Jews, yet we're only half of 1% of the population of the world. How is it possible we get half of the Nobel Prizes? The answer is because we were meant to be prophets, and we have no idea what to do with that. So therefore, we're always searching, we're always digging, we're always trying to find the truth in whatever field it is. What's your field, Lindsay? What are you studying?
Oh, I'm studying communications.
Okay, so in communications, I give you a bracha, a blessing that
Thank you.
you'll be so successful that you'll find something unbelievable that changes the world. Say amen.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have to go, but thank you so, so much. This was so amazing. I'll see you
good
soon.
to see you. So good to see you.
Rabbi Lashak, I tried to finish off the questions, but two people really want to ask. We have time for two more, and then
Yes, two
okay,
more.
great. Thank you so much. Jocelyn, you're up.
Okay. So I'm Lynn. Me and Jocelyn both had the same question.
I think I've seen you a couple of times, young lady.
If we take dreams so seriously, then why are they also not meant anything most of the time? And does that just relate to the dreams that like are listed, like the ones with your teeth falling or your door falling, and does that just relate to those that we take seriously, or all dreams? Because we just also said that dreams most of the time don't mean anything.
Any dream, that's a great question. So the ones that I told you, the door falling, the teeth falling, you are in the middle of, Yom Kippur and Ne'ilah, and you're praying to God like crazy. Or what was the fourth one? There was a fourth one, very powerful. Those, the Talmud tells you, you better take this seriously. This is not a joke. Everything else, if you believe that this is serious, that this is important, then today we have no prophets, so we shouldn't tell it to anybody else because they don't know how to interpret the dreams. And then they'll go, if it's a blessing, they'll mess it up like these snakes. And if it's a curse, it's like they might make it worse. So therefore, it is better to leave it alone and not to touch it. It's like a letter that's never been read, and nothing happens. So it becomes status quo, so to speak. People ask me all the time, should they invest in the stock market right now because it's so high? Maybe they invest, they put the money and it's going to fall. So he's like, or you just leave it in the bank and gets 0.010% in your bank. So what should you do? It's like, it's like, so the idea is like this. The idea is, if you feel that this is powerful, if you believe that this, you see it, how do you know it's important? If you've seen it once, don't do anything about it. If you've seen it twice, by the way, that's how Joseph knew the Pharaoh's dream was real, because he saw it twice. Also, if you see it early in the morning, not at night, but you see it closer to you when you're waking up, you also take it very seriously. If someone has the same dream that you have and they tell you that, you bring it up one more notch, that's super serious. Now we're talking serious. Now it's serious. Then, so what do? You take the three rabbis, the three people, and you try to nullify it if you think it's scary. If you don't think it's scary, then you pray to God that it should be fulfilled. And you pray, but you don't go around sharing it with anybody. You pray to God that it should be fulfilled, and you should be able to accomplish this. A person knows. He sees it once, not so serious. Sees it twice, much, he just went up. You went from DEFCON 5 to DEFCON 4. Someone else has the same, you have the three dreams, DEFCON 3. Someone else had the same dream, DEFCON 2. I don't know if you know what DEFCON is. It's like, you take it seriously. This is serious. This is serious. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're sweating, you're traumatized, then you have to fast, then you have to get nullified, you have to go to get a priestly blessing. A person knows if a dream is serious. If you only saw it once, don't worry so much, unless it scares you. But most dreams are nothing. And even those who are real, they still have things that are not necessarily. So don't do anything. Status quo. If you don't know how to invest, don't invest. If you don't know if you should buy commodities, or you should gold and silver, or you should buy a Tesla, or you should buy and you don't know what to do with your money, don't do anything. It's worse to invest and lose all your money and run after Tesla when it's so high that it's going to fall, from 800 to 200. It's better not to do anything. So whenever in doubt, don't do anything when it comes to dreams. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes.
Okay, last question is Eli Abitbol. Eli, go ahead.
Hi, Rabbi.
Eli's had his hand up for a long time.
I did.
Eli and I go way, way back.
Yeah. How are you, Rabbi? You asked me.
I am better for seeing you.
Me too. Likewise. You asked me a question about the dreams, but I just had a question regarding the demons. I know that the night before a Brit Milah, Sephardim, Moroccans have a custom to wave a knife above the crib, right, of the baby. Isn't that too?
That's scary stuff, those Moroccans. Oh my God.
Very scary. But
even Mexicans don't do that. Even the cartels don't do that. These Moroccans, I don't know, man. They're like, I don't know where I have no idea where they get that. Even the cartels in Mexico don't do that.
I know, but isn't that to like wipe away the demons or something?
I have no idea where that came from. I gotta tell you, it's probably some weird grandma 200 years ago in Morocco, who, I don't know, had a little too much tequila. I have no clue where that came from. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's spooky, scary, weird, crazy stuff. And I gotta tell you, I'm sorry. I make fun of Mexicans all the time, but those Moroccans, boy, are they weird. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I have no idea.
And is there more than one opinion on there's no demons nowadays?
No. Everybody paskins like the Rambam that we did have, and the Rambam talks about it, and many, many, many poskim talk about it, but we don't have them today because we don't marry them. Listen, no, there's so many things we don't have today.
Yeah, there's so many prayers nowadays that we say to protect us from demons.
Sure. By the way, I'm gonna share with you an incredible secret. The next time you say Hallel, you say below your day Duma. Do not bring me down your day to see Duma. Who is Duma? Duma is the head of the demons. We say it in Hallel. God, please, please, please. I'm not perfect, but please, please, God, even though I'm not perfect, please don't send me down to Sheol. We don't know what that is. There's no hell in Judaism, but listen, doesn't sound like a good place. To meet Duma. Who's Duma? Duma is not a good guy. Duma is the head of the demons. Below your day, Duma. Yes, but you have to understand that prayer was done by the Ashkenazi Torah, the Great Assembly. That prayer was done 2,600 years ago. Today, we do not have demons. We don't deserve them. We don't merit them. You would have to be in incredible spiritual levels to be able to, it always has to be equal balances of purity and impurity. And today we don't have any of that because we don't have real purity. We don't have high priest. We don't have temple. We don't have offerings. We don't have the breastplate. We don't have anything. What do we have? We don't have the Bet HaMikdash. We don't have, so therefore, we don't have demons. We don't have real, there is witchcraft, but no real witchcraft. I mean, I'm not saying there is a little bit, but that's because they learned it from their mother, who learned it from their grandmother, who learned. But if you call 1-800 witchcraft and you want to talk to a witch, it's not going to happen. Or you know those people who like sit there and it's like, you want to spend 1-800 and spend $20 a minute to talk to some person who sees the constellations and is going to tell you what's going on. You're wasting your money. So, but was there such a powers? Absolutely. There is still powers of darkness. There's still a little witchcraft. There is still a little, but it's so minute, and they're not going to get up there in the internet and charge you $9 per minute for you to, my fandom in Mongolia, hidden in, they're not going to come here and start messing with you in Toronto. Don't worry about that. So, yes, was there such a powers? Absolutely. Do they exist today?
Yeah, but there's so many prayers to protect us against them.
Yes.
Even the Shema Lamita has so many.
Sure, the Shema, one of the main purposes is a double-edged sword. To one of them is to protect you against demons. Absolutely.
So why is that still said today if they don't exist?
No, because the Shema has another million reasons why we say the Shema. The Shema is you're returning your soul to God so you can go up to heaven and write what you did during the day. And you're asking God that he should return the next day. And Mode'ani is the opposite of Shema. Shema is when you give the soul to God, and Mode'ani is when you get it back. The Shema is a million different reasons why there is Shema. Shema is a combination of the soul and the body together. We could make a class in Shema that could last 6 hours.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much, Canada. I hope you're not freezing.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Lashak, and thank you to everybody for coming and for all your questions. We are going to be back 2 weeks from tonight with Rabbi Lashak again, so we're very excited for that. If you would like more information on our NCSY alumni Shirim, send me an email. I posted it in the chat. I want to thank the Judah Fellowship and the Judah Fellows NCSY Alumni's College Program for setting this up. And if anybody wants to get more information about the programs that we're running, you can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. You can shoot me an email. You can message Nicole. Or if you're like Jocelyn, you can just text me. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks, Wednesday night, again at 9:00 Eastern. And everybody have a wonderful night again. Thank you so much to Rabbi Lashak for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
So nice to see everybody, and everybody should be healthy and safe. And thank you for learning Torah together. And please stay safe. Tremendous love from Wifey and Chubby.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you so much, Rabbi.
Bye, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you.